Good afternoon, everybody. It's that time of the day where you join myself, Rolene Marks, for your top stories from Israel. And we do this every Monday to Thursday right here on the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. So let's take a look at those top stories making headlines, and we begin with Foreign Minister Yair Lapid's visit to Cairo. He is presently meeting with the Egyptian President Mohammed al-Sisi. On the agenda for discussion is the Iranian nuclear threat, but also the proposal or proposed ideas to reach a lasting ceasefire with Hamas. Now, the other day, Hamas indicated their dissatisfaction with Egypt as a mediator and said that they are mulling renewing violence against Israel. And there has been a significant uptick in violent attacks against Israelis over the last couple of weeks. But let's take a look at what was discussed in the meeting. So apart from the Iranian nuclear deal or nuclear threat, also discussed was efforts to try and reach a permanent ceasefire with Hamas, as well as for Israel to receive back the remains of two fallen soldiers, Hadar Golden and Oron Shaul, as well as two civilians who are currently being held captive by Hamas. Yair Lapid presented his economic plan, which would see an increase and rehabilitation in infrastructure in the Gaza Strip, as well as economic plans that would help link the West Bank with Gaza and help build some kind of Palestinian economy. We are waiting to see what the outcome of this is, but one thing is for certain: relations between Israel and Egypt are warming up significantly. In other news, Shin Bet have announced that they uncovered a Hamas cell operating out of Hebron. They have arrested members of the cell who were plotting shooting attacks against Israelis. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there has been a significant uptick in the amount of violent attacks against Israelis, the latest coming yesterday when a 14-year-old girl stabbed a mother as she was dropping her children off at daycare. Incidentally, it has come to light that the perpetrator, who was arrested hiding out at a school nearby, along with her father, her teacher, the principal of the school, and two others, was a neighbor of the woman. Hamas, of course, said that they applaud the actions of this young girl. Now, I know many of you are disappointed because Israel, like many other countries, has imposed a travel ban, making sure that everybody is protected against the highly transmissible Omicron variant. Now, when the ban was announced, of course, it's upset many Jews around the world who have strong ties to Israel and perhaps had planned trips to Israel. Well, speaking earlier today, Prime Minister Naftali Bennett announced that the government will be having discussions about travel measures sometime during the course of the day. He also discussed ways to restrict those who haven't been vaccinated and to ensure that the Green Pass rule is activated and adhered to. But he also wrote a letter to the leaders of diaspora communities saying that he apologizes for any pain that the travel ban that has been imposed has caused anybody or any inconvenience. He is aware that there has been a lot of criticism that contestants for the upcoming Miss Universe pageant have been able to enter the country. And he said, rest assured, we are doing everything in our power to try and sort the situation out as soon as possible so that you can all come back to Israel for your celebrations, your travels, and of course for many non-Jewish people who want to come to the country for pilgrimage because we are approaching Christmas time. So hopefully we will bring you some positive updates. We do have one positive update, and that is that the parents of anyone in Israel or pregnant Israelis can now travel to Israel. They will have to observe strict quarantine vaccination criteria, but there had been complaints from many Israeli women expecting the delivery of their babies that they were kept apart from grandparents to be. So that ban has been lifted, and hopefully we will see our skies opening up to you all again very, very soon. And our last story of the day takes us to the Miss Universe pageant. Yes, it is almost upon us. Miss Universe will be crowned on Sunday night, and we would just like to take this opportunity to wish all of the contestants good luck. It hasn't been without its controversy. We are all familiar with the story about Miss South Africa and the support that was withdrawn for her from her government. Miss France testing positive for the coronavirus, and some of the horrific attacks on her from BDS, as well as Miss Ireland, who also received her fair share of abuse from people saying, how could you compete in the Miss Universe pageant in Israel? But outweighing that by a long shot, it has also been fraught with new friendships that were formed, and contestants from around the world, from 81 countries, who have been absolutely enthralled and delighted by all that Israel has to offer them, with many of them saying they cannot wait to return and bring their families back with them. Of particular emotional connection was Miss Puerto Rico, who announced to fellow contestants when they visited Yad Vashem that her great-grandfather was a Holocaust survivor and her great-grandmother was a descendant of slaves, and she was there glad to be in Israel at Yad Vashem, telling their unique story to the rest of her contestants and appealing to them to be ambassadors and to share these kind of stories with the rest of the world. We also welcomed former Miss Iraq Sarah Idan, who is a great supporter of the state of Israel. She is in the country as well. So we are thrilled that so many brilliant, articulate, beautiful women from around the world are here in Israel to enjoy everything that we have to offer. We wish you the best of luck and hope to see you back soon. Meanwhile, if you're looking for some reading material, look no further than our website at www.layoftheland.online. Dave Kaplan has some interviews with students at the Reichman University at the IDC for you to read. It'll also be up on our Facebook page. If you haven't joined our Facebook community, please give us a like or a follow at Lottle's site. Check out where we are for Shabbat, and don't forget to wish us a Shabbat Shalom. If you are watching this on YouTube, please consider liking us and sharing our content and subscribing by clicking on the red subscribe button. And if you want to be alerted every time we post a brief, click on the little bell icon. And of course, we're on Twitter at Lay of the Land 5. That's at Lay of the Land with a 5. So from all of us to all of you, we wish you a peaceful, a healthy and a safe weekend. Shabbat Shalom. Stay warm if you are in the northern hemisphere. Enjoy the sunlight if you are in the south. Have a wonderful weekend, and don't forget to check back with us on Monday for your top stories.